All right. I think we're live here, folks. This is huge. Let me just get my life sorted out here. This is the first Hard to Kill podcast of 2024. And it's the first one that is live in a long time. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just going to make sure that the comment section here is open and ready to rock and roll, and just let people kind of stream in as things progress. So I want to welcome you to the channel. If this is your first time here, would love to hear it in the comments section. I'm Dave Morrow. I'm the creator of the Hard to Kill podcast and host. I'm also the author of The Nimble Warrior and the creator of the Hard to Kill training programs. So I've got a few pokers in the fire, but I love doing this podcast thing. And this is officially season 6. So it's been a awesome journey so far. And I can't wait to take you along with it. So as you can see here in the ticker that's going by, if you're enjoying the content and if you want to hear more on fitness and health for the veteran community, my goal is to help 100,000 veterans lose 2 million pounds. So because of that, I need more people to follow, like, share, and subscribe. So if you'd love to find out more and hear more awesome guests, definitely want to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, and make sure that you say thanks and pay for my coffee tomorrow by checking out the super thanks button that's here and pledge your support and help a fellow veteran brother out. Get a coffee in the morning. So today we're going to look at a few things, and this is an info session. Let's put it that way. A recap of 2023. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because the amount of podcasts I got out last year was the most I ever got out. And that was pretty cool because there's a lot on the go. And I still have, that's the cool thing, I still have podcasts that need to actually be published from last year. So 2023 was a very busy year. A lot of people reaching out to hop on the show, which was really cool to see. And I wanted to make sure that that was highlighted today in the live feed. So what we're going to go over today. Let's see here. So we're going to look at my favorite episode of the year. We're also going to look at the funniest episode that I thought was a hoot this year, and the most watched episode we're going to go over today as well. So in the comments, guys, I'd love to know where you're listening from. So pop them into the comments here, and let's hope that everything works well and I can see them, everything here. Like, this is literally a first go using new software and trying out a live here on YouTube. So forgive me if there are some technical glitches. So before we get started, I want to make sure that you guys are well aware that there is a merch store. Yes, there is a merch store. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that there are merch items that are listed right under the video. So you're going to see this hat. Okay, this is the dad hat. This is my favorite. I wear this every day. So Hard to Kill podcast, dad hat. It's got the little, dad hat clasp in the back. Super comfy. Wear it to the gym. Wear it out for dinner with your wife. And then additionally, I've got my favorite shirt. So this is a little bit of philosophy. So no man has a right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training, by my main man, Socrates. So this is here all listed in the bottom. And you can get a sticker too. So you can throw it on your laptop, throw it on your book, show some love for the podcast. Would love to see some of that out in the wild. So definitely want to check that out. There's all kinds of other stuff there too, related to my training programs. These are the ones specific to the podcast. It's also a really cool hoodie, which I don't have right now, but you definitely might want to check that out. So head over to the merch store and show some love for the channel there as well. Now, I want to do some shameless plugs too for the super chat. So like I said earlier, if you enjoy the content and if you're catching this on a replay, you want to hit that super chat button. It's the heart with the S in it. That helps support the channel. Keep literally the lights on here. Okay, so this is a new studio. It comes at a cost. So if you're really enjoying the content and this is, your second time, third time, fourth time, and you want to find out a way to support, that's an easy way to do it. Okay, now let's get into it, man. Let's do some shout outs. I want to do some shout outs. First one I want to do is for the Veterans for Freedom. Veterans for Freedom is an interesting organization that popped up during the pandemic era. So these folks were at the forefront of protecting our rights and freedoms. A huge community of veterans that all kind of came together, and they've been so important in the whole coalescing of the veteran voice here in Canada anyways, that they approached me to be on their platform for this year. And I said, yes, of course, I'd love that. So stay tuned for more coming out from Veterans for Freedom. They're going to have Vet TV here in Canada, their own version of basically a veteran TV station on YouTube and Rumble. So I'm really excited about that. If you want to find out more, the links are here in the description for the video. So go check them out. There's also I got this book before Christmas, and I promised that I would show it on the podcast. So, Born in a Bar. Okay, this was sent to me by Gunnery Sergeant Jesse Esterly. Okay, so if you're not tracking, the Marine Corps was born in a bar many years ago, and we connected on Instagram, I believe, and just started a conversation. I read the first chapter and already laughed out loud. So Jesse, hilarious story about hooking up with his girlfriend and realizing after a night of just raunchy sex that he was actually in her parents' house. And when he got up in the morning, her parents asked if he wanted breakfast. So typical grunt story. I freaking love it. So Jesse, thanks so much. And the link for the book is here in the description. And so any of you folks that have a shout out, especially if it's a veteran shout out that you think would be a really good book, website, whatever it may be, I really want the community to help out as much as possible and share veteran voices and share veteran products. So you can drop any kind of comment you want here if you have any kind of recommendations, and I have a means to make it more formal, and I'll explain it later on how you can reach out to me. So next up is FirmTech. So let's just pull that up here, guys. FirmTech is something I'm a proud not only supporter of, but an affiliate of, because I had the creator of the FirmTech Tech Ring on my show last year. So Dr. Elliot Justin, and I'm just going to pull that up here, was on the show. He's a urologist. And the funny thing about urologists is that they deal with cocks all day, and they're freaking hilarious. On top of that, you may not know this, but erectile dysfunction is one of the most common medical issues for veterans. The VA in the States is the largest supplier of erectile dysfunction medication and the largest supplier of cock rings. Wow, I know. So that's some alpha for you today. The reason why this is important is that if you're not tracking your sexual health as a male, you are missing a critical component to your cardiovascular health. And this is where I got an education. So I'm just going to pull up the website here for your viewing pleasure. So here we go. So what Dr. Elliot has done, he has created a device. So it is a wearable device, just like your wearable watch. It connects to your phone, and we can see it here. What it's doing is measuring your nighttime erections. I know this is the first episode of the year. I know it's going to get better. Trust me. And it's directly correlated to your coronary heart disease risk. So without any medical intervention, you could go to your doctor and be like, hey man, I'm experiencing some issues here. What do we do? What's the protocol? So because this podcast is all about fitness and health for the veteran community, this is an outside the box thing that I love being a part of. And if you want to find out more, you can head to the site, which is here in the description. And you can get your own tech ring at a discount. You just need to use the code Morrow when you head to the link in the description. And you definitely might want to check out the episode and 2 episodes that I've done with Dr. Elliot Justin on the podcast from last year as well. So let's move on from there and go to our last shout out, which is LeBear Fitness, which is a proud supporter of the Hard to Kill podcast and what we're doing here. They're a Canadian company, and they have a bunch of really good home-based equipment, and that's initially what drew me to them. So you can get the LeBaire equalizer, which I'm going to show here on the screen, which I'm a huge fan of, and I definitely need to get a workout in today with them before I'm done. These guys are based in Toronto and huge supporter of the troops. If you head to the link that is in the description, you're going to get a discount on all of their gear. They have a bunch of body weight based stuff for calisthenics, an awesome way to stay super fit on a budget with minimal equipment. So that's LeBaire Fitness. The link is here in the description. Go support a great Canadian company. Okay, so let's get right into it. Thanks for commenting, folks. JP, yeah, thanks for commenting. Appreciate it. And folks, if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to drop a like and hit the subscribe button. We're going to get into the meat of it today. We're going to go into the 2023 recap. So these are my episodes that I've picked that had, you know, a particular kind of pizzazz. First one is going to be actually my favorite episode, and there's a few reasons why. It's the episode I did with CrossFit Games champ Jason Khalipa. So I'm just going to pull up the episode here, and it's actually relatively recent. It came out just before Christmas, and the great thing about it was he was a member of, or on my Dream 100 list. So a Dream 100 list is something I learned from another influencer in one of his marketing books about who do you want to talk to in your life that would have an impact on you or your business or whatever, you know, mission you have in life. And just write people down. It could be anybody, right? It could be, you know, he wildly famous to, you know, somebody maybe in your community. And one of the individuals on that list was Jason Khalipa. So Jason Khalipa is the 2008 CrossFit Games champ. He was one of the original CrossFit pros when CrossFit really started blowing up. So I followed his career from that first 2008 CrossFit Games up until 2015. And so I always looked up to him as an athlete. I thought he's an awesome dude, big supporter of the troops, BJJ champion, like just awesome athlete, but also really good human being. And he agreed to come on the podcast last year, and we had an amazing chat. The chat was just like it really got into the meat of what it means to like be healthy and fit, but also he's a dad, and he loves making sure that his kids are super fit and ready for the world. So I'm just going to show a quick clip here, guys, of the episode, and give you a bit of context as to you know, what was going on here. I like how you structured that. So at the base, the fitness standards, what would you say are some of the absolute like non-negotiable fitness standards that every person should have?
I mean, I think that every single person needs to be able to sprint at least 100 yards. You just have to. It's just a necessity of life. If you're in a really shitty situation, there's a recent video that's going viral on the internet where a semi truck comes off the side of the road and this lady grabs her baby and starts sprinting. If you don't have the ability to do that because you're too obese or too out of shape, like that's a big problem. You know, there's also another video where a baby's in a car. Yeah. And it starts going towards the street, and some random guy comes and helps because this woman couldn't get up. And I'm not trying to shame that person. I'm just saying that, like, if you're looking at it holistically, you need to be able to run, and at least for 100 yards, maybe not 400, but at least 100, right? You should be able to at least, you know, sit down on something and stand back up without using support.
So as a frame of reference, the fitness standards that he's outlining here, like running, these are perfectly in line with what I've crafted when I work with my veteran clients as well. Being able to run, but at, you know, a steady pace, but quickly for like 100 meters is like a no-fail, hard-to-kill standard for exactly the reasons that he's bringing up here. You need to be able to sprint after something. And my lifetime goal, like when I'm old, I'm going to know that I knocked it out of the park health-wise if I can sprint after my grandkids. My kids are young, man. They're 7 and 4. So that's the standard I've set for myself. And he knocked it out of the park. He was like, yeah, man, you got to be able to run. You got to be able to sprint. So I really like that. So stay tuned. He's going to go over a few more here.
You need to be able to get on the toilet and stand back up again. If you can't do that without using handles, like we have a problem. You need to be able to deadlift your body weight, right? You need to be able to pick up off the floor something as heavy as you. And most importantly, you need to be able to get to the ground and get back up again. Those are like fundamentals that are non-negotiable.
You need to be okay.
So that was partly why I really appreciated this this episode, was that he went into some really basic standards. Now, he's a high-level athlete, but he's breaking it down into making sure you're able to run and make sure you're able to deadlift. And that couldn't be more in line with how I think when it comes to fitness and health. So I really appreciated that coming from Jason Khalipa. And we talked about all kinds of other things too. He's a really good marksman too. He loves to shoot and get on the range. So definitely an episode you want to check out, because he hits a lot of really good points and really talks about what it is to be a dad and why it's so important to be fit as a dad, as well as just as an example for your household, to make sure that the next generation is fit and healthy. So moving on, we're going to look at the funniest episode of 2023. And this is another urologist, actually. It's Dr. Judson Brandeis. So I don't really have any interactions with urologists. I just happen to have seen him on another podcast, a friend of mine's podcast, actually. And the conversation was amazing. And he was the first one to bring up the connection between male sexual health and coronary heart disease. And I said, oh man, I'm like, I never really thought about that. That's a really cool correlation. Tell me more. So I reached out to him and he agreed to come on the podcast. And the episode we did was freaking hilarious. I've literally never laughed out loud so hard on a podcast after doing this for 5 years as I did with Judson here. So I'm just going to show you a quick clip of this podcast, and you can judge for yourself. Now, to put this in context, okay, this clip starts at the point where he's talking about what's called the P-Long study. The P-Long study is a peer-reviewed study that he conducted that used his protocol that actually increased the length and girth of the participants' penises. Yeah, I know. Insane. And it had no medical intervention. So the reason why he's doing all this is because he's a urologist. He sees disasters come into his office because guys get all kinds of procedures in like Thailand and stuff. It's a cool episode. Also, it's freaking scary as shit. But let's just tune in here and and listen to him talk about the results of the P-Long study here. What can an average Jew expect by doing this protocol?
So on average, our guys got 0.8 of an inch. 0.8 inches of length and almost a half an inch of girth. And also they all improved in function. So by definition, they had normal erections, but guys know when things work a little bit better than they did before.
Wait, almost an entire inch longer, and how much? A quarter inch in girth?
About a half an inch of girth.
That's incredible.
Of girth.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
And this is the average. So there was guys that had
average. One guy almost got an inch and a half of length.
Holy! Oh my god! An inch and a half! Wow!
He told me, he's like, dude, I gotta stop. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you're my prized specimen. He's like, well, my wife says I'm too big for anal, and I'm too big for oral. He said, "Is there a reversal process?" He said, "I got to keep one orifice in play."
So there you go. Hey, there's a reason why I tune into the podcast, right? It's not your average podcast. Make sure the kids aren't around when you listen to this one. This was just yucks the entire way through, but peppered with amazing info and alpha when it comes to your health. So, fellas, you got to tune into this one. It's a must, and it's also freaking hilarious. So, hope you enjoyed that one. And the last one is with Catherine Christensen. So if you weren't aware, I'll just bring Catherine up here. So Catherine Christensen is the barrister who is in charge of bringing the court case to the CAF, the Canadian Armed Forces, to the tune of $500 million for abuse of power based off the COVID mandates. So there's 329 former Canadian Armed Forces members that are involved in this lawsuit. This was one of our first conversations. And the reason why this was it's funny. It's the most viewed, right? And this is the video that actually allowed me to realize, oh shit, like I'm actually a YouTuber now. Because my YouTube, for me, I've been doing it for years, but it was more of a means for me to put up videos to share with my clients. And yeah, I was putting up some podcasts, but I was never really intentional. I wasn't doing a good job. I was putting up the videos because I figured, hey, if somebody wants to watch it, they can watch it, right? This video hit over 200,000 views. I remember getting texts from my buddies asking me to go check the views of my video because it was exploding. I posted it and just forgot about it. To be honest, I didn't even want to post this video because I was worried YouTube was going to pull it and put a strike on my account, and I didn't want that. So it was on a whim. I just said, you know what, I'll post. So I put a thumbnail that was new to me. I never posted anything like that with, my hands on and making a silly face. It blew up. And the topic, I think, was something that Canadians or just North Americans in general weren't hearing on the mainstream media, and it hit a nerve. So this is just a clip of the episode, and I recommend you go check it out.
Refresh my memory.
Admiral McDonald comes in. I have the briefing note that was given to Admiral McDonald. He was told you couldn't do this legally, medically, morally, ethically, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So he said, no, I won't do it. Sexual misconduct. General Fortin, in charge of the rollout for civilians. He said, no mandate. Sexual misconduct.
Oh, shit.
Air comes in. Gets a briefing note. Says you can't do what you did. And it's written by General Cadu. And we all know what happened to General Cadu. Sexual misconduct allegations.
Oh, shit.
Coincidence?
Catherine, you're blowing my mind. Oh, no. But wait, I just did this episode with
I look forward to speaking to those four gentlemen under oath. Because Air said,
Air said no initially. And then I can't find the next conversation or briefing note where he said no basically twice, and then all of a sudden it's yes, hammering. And I'm like, as a military officer, it is so frowned upon the flip-flop. It's so frowned upon, especially here in Canada. The whole idea of flip-flopping is just, it's like almost antithetical to me. Even though it's like, hey, this is a better idea, I screwed up, I should not be using this idea. It just rarely happens. So for him to go from no to yes, something big must have happened for him to go, oh yeah, you know what? I was told it was illegal. I know it's illegal, but I'm still going to go ahead with it. It must be something, and it's got to come out in the wash at some point.
Yeah, I can tell you. I can tell you what it is.
No,
he went from active CDS to full CDS. Yes, a couple of weeks after he brought in the mandate in October, he got promoted.
So, just a small clip of what this episode was all about. It really touched a nerve. The briefing notes that we're talking about here had to do with the COVID mandates. And I did an earlier episode, 2 episodes actually, on those mandates and why the briefing notes, well, we had access to them, and it clearly stated that the mandates were deemed to be not legal and should not be implemented, but were implemented anyways. So this episode really just sheds light on the whole issue, and now we're just seeing more and more play out in the media, and also in Canadian society as well. So there's definitely going to be more to follow on that. So if that's the content you're really tracking and you're really curious about, don't worry, there's more coming in the future. Also had a great chat with lawyer Philip Miller from Philip Miller's Law that touches on this subject, but from a different angle. And I find it important because there's no coverage of this in the Canadian media, and social media has blocked out Canadian media essentially from all their platforms, or Canadian news, I should say, from all their platforms. So you're really only going to get a lot of content and news essentially and editorial positions from podcasts now. So we're in a golden age of podcasting, in my opinion. So that's why it's so important to subscribe, hit the bell, and make sure to share your favorite episodes with your friends to get the conversation started. Andrew, thanks for commenting. Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year to you too, brother, as well. Really appreciate you tuning in. So let's wrap up from here, folks. I'm going to ask you some questions, and if you're tuning in to this after the live, feel free to answer. I read all comments. So what was your favorite episode this year? Okay, if you're a Hard to Kill podcast fan, diehard, I'd love to know which one was your favorite. I want to get more info from you guys. So please comment here, whether it's from this past season or all the way back to like season 1. I know most of them aren't on YouTube because I wasn't filming back then, but please drop me a message here in the comments. And lastly, if you know some guests, if you know some interesting folks with some interesting insights on fitness and health, please drop it in the comments here, right? Obviously, I don't know everybody. I can't possibly track everybody, and I'm a curious kitten. So if there's somebody that you think would be a good fit, please let me know here in the comments, and I'll try to track them down. If you can leave a web link too to who they are or their Instagram profile, whatever it may be, we're all connected these days. Give me a bit more information, and it'll make my life a bit easier as well. So let's wrap things up, folks. Again, I want to thank you for tuning in, and if you want to support the show, just like it says here in the ticker, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the bell and throw this video a like, share it with friends. And if you really want to help a fellow veteran brother out, you can help me with my coffee addiction and hit the super thanks button. And you can pledge whatever you want there, starting at $2. Additionally, I'd like to just point you to my brand new Patreon channel as well. So I'll bring this up here on the screen. If you're looking to support a growing veteran-based podcast, Patreon is a great way to make a monthly donation to the show. And like I said, this keeps the lights on. This is not for fame and glory, right? This is to literally be able to keep the show up and running, and you know, keep a studio and all the other equipment that comes with it. So if you do become a member, I'd really appreciate it. We have different tiers of support here. We already have a few folks that have already pledged their support, and we have recruit level here. This is all in USD, by the way, so a little bit different for Canadians out there. You'll have a different value here. But if you want to get your foot in the door as a supporter, you can pledge support for your recruit level. Private level, you get a nice sticker and a little bit extra support. And then at the sergeant level, you get a sticker and you get a t-shirt as well. Actually, the one I'm wearing right now. So you can pick those levels of support up and help support the show. And I'd love for you to be a new patron. Coming down the pipe, we're going to have private Ask Me Anythings with guests for individuals that pick up a certain tier of support. And I'm also looking for suggestions. So if you are a patron and want to throw some suggestions, I am definitely all ears. As it stands now, we're slowly growing this so that we can end up with a war chest to grow the channel and become even more prominent in the veteran wellness space. So folks, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you tuning in to my first live of the year. There's going to be a live every week, every Friday at 1500 hours. So stay tuned, bookmark it in your calendar, and we'll see you on the next one. Train hard, fight easy. Peace.